Hello, hello. Welcome once again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 30-year veteran writer, illustrator, editor, and publisher of comic, science fiction, fantasy, horror, and role-playing games. And this is another daily cute question and answer short. And today's question comes from my next-door neighbor, Chris. He's 15, and he had a really good question. Well, let's see what he has to ask us. What is the most difficult part of being a comics creator? That's a really good question. Now, a lot of people might say it's being able to deal with your coworkers as collaborators, dealing with editors that you may not get along with, deadlines, that sort of thing. I really don't think that's necessarily the most difficult part. It used to be, but not so much these days. I think today the most difficult part of being a comic book creator, or really an entertainer in any field of entertainment, whether you're a novelist or a musician or an actor or a comedian, is the understanding that you're not always going to be able to appease an audience, and that there's going to be negative feedback directed at your work and directed at you personally through social media. I think one of the most difficult aspects is trying to transverse and understand and not fall down the rabbit hole, if you will, of dealing with what people say about you and your work on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or whatever other platforms, because number one, you're always going to have people who don't like you or your work, whether it's rational or irrational, it doesn't really matter. But when you get that kind of negative feedback all the time, it makes it very depressive. It makes it very distracting from being able to do your work, because you're now second guessing yourself and questioning your own worth as a creator, because you're trying to figure out what you can do to make these people happy. And the reality is, number one, even though fans are technically our audience, they're not necessarily the ones who employ us. So that's kind of, they say develop a thick skin, or let it roll off your back like like water off a duck's back or some other thing. It's not that easy. We're all human beings. You see this stuff, it affects you. The best thing, though, you can do is remember that you're in service of the work itself and the employer who hires you, first and foremost. And that no matter what happens, there's always going to be somebody somewhere who's going to knock what you're doing. I would say that's the most difficult part, is dealing with that fandom, or not even fandom, just society, because they're not really fans if they're knocking you, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I'd say that's the biggest, most difficult part in today's world. of being a comic book creator or an entertainer in general. My advice to them how to do that is to remember that social media is a tool and not a escape. While you want to interact with your fandom, um, try not to fall down the rabbit hole too much of trying to counter what other people say negative about you or whatever. Obviously, if someone's attacking you or family, or saying that they're coming after you to kill you because they didn't like what you did in your last comic book, or they're attacking your spouse or your children because you're a member of Comicsgate or something like that. Yes, be sensible. Look at what's going on. If someone's seemingly threatening, report them. Don't necessarily, um, you know, combat them online, so to speak. And that's very difficult to do because things get heated and you get very angry and upset. I do it all the time too. I'm not perfect. I get angry with certain people. And it's not even directed at me. It's directed at my friends. But that's kind of what we have to learn how to do if we can. Um, it's a tool to market ourselves. It's a tool to um, let the people who actually care about our work know what we're doing and interact with us. And anybody else, well, do your best to let them be, and as long as it's not overtly adversely affecting your work, let it be, because otherwise um, you're going to end up just your mind will be distracted from working and you won't get work done. I can say that from lots of personal experience. I've gone down a rabbit hole, lose hours of time that I should be writing or drawing or editing, answering other people's nonsense. So that's the biggest difficulty in working in comics right now. Okay, that's our question for today. I want to thank Chris for that question. I thought it was a very astute question. If you have a question for me, email me at quotheravenlbr72@gmail.com, subject QTR Q&A. Later this evening, I will be back 8 o'clock tonight with special guest Monster Fan. And we'll be reviewing 2 classic Universal Monsters feature films, Bride of Frankenstein and Phantom of the Opera. I don't know if you've seen Monster Fan in my chat room, but he's a big Universal Monster feature film fan, and he'll be stepping in for our regular guest co-host, John Figueroa Norris, as he recovers from dental surgery today. Good luck with that, John. Hope you're doing well. And so, if you liked this video, or you think others might, I'd appreciate it if you'd like, share, and subscribe buttons to continue to get content from my channel. As always, I thank you all for watching and for your support. You can reach me on social media at Lewis.BrightRaven, Twitter at LewisBrightRaven2. You can see more of my artwork at deviantart.com/BrightRaven. You've been watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven, exclusively on YouTube. Again, the question and answers email, or to talk to me about a video you watched, or if you want to commission artwork from me, Quoth the Raven LBR72@gmail.com is the primary address to reach me at. And if I don't get back to you within 24, 48 hours, try LewisBrightRaven@yahoo.com. That's all for now. We'll see you at 8 p.m. this evening for our Friday night TV talk, our movie talk this week with our special guest Monster fans. See you next time. Have a great day.